By now, I've been round other embassies in Washington, gathering some startled private comments about the neoconservatives. Washington's staid diplomatic community taken aback by the neocons' aggressive view of America's role in the world. Now, here's what some diplomats and foreign embassies have had to say off the record about neoconservatives. We're flabbergasted. They've hijacked the administration. We've commissioned a report on neoconservatives, and it's a bestseller in the embassy. And this really is a revolution in foreign policy. We've seen nothing like it before.
This is a Fox News alert, and this is what a lot of people in the world have been waiting for. The people...
Triumph on the screen, and for the neoconservatives, for whom the long-awaited fall of Saddam is just an opening episode in the new American century. Just tell me what you felt, what you thought when you saw that statue of Saddam coming down.
Well, I did something that always looks absurd when other people do it. I applauded the television set.
It was a moment of that just underscored and reminded us that freedom is an enduring ideal everywhere, and not just in the Western world, everywhere.
This was a dream that Mayrav Wormser and her husband David, now at the State Department, had cherished as long as anyone in Washington.
We actually opened a bottle of champagne. This was a moment we waited for many, many years. I mean, we've been working on freedom for Iraq for the past 9 years, maybe. My personal feeling was doing, an incredibly good deed by pushing this war because, people got their freedom out of it.
I do think the neocons have won.
Oh, look, you make it. This was not a factional fight. We had a great debate in the United States, in Britain, in the Western world, in the Atlantic Alliance about how to secure the world, the peace of the world. And look, different people had different ideas, but if it would be horribly petty to say, "Oh, terrific! The statues come down. My team won a Washington debate." That's no way to think.
Jim. Hi.
So good to see you.
So the statues are coming down.
That's right.
How strong a position is this going to leave the neocons in Washington?
Quite strong. Much stronger than they were 2 weeks ago when they were so glum. Their position has strengthened. But at the same time, they become ever more visible. They've never had the prominence that they have at the present moment. Never. And I think that makes them feel both a little giddy and a little anxious.
Let's see what happens next.
It's a never-ending drama here in Washington.
Good morning.
To the neocons, the images of victorious American power showed their ideas are working. They say they don't want to declare war on the world for democracy and hope other regimes can be changed by politics and pressure. But they'd rarely rule force out. Joshua Moravchik has his sights on another regime in the axis of evil. North Korea. It's reported to have a weapons-grade nuclear program. He says diplomacy's unlikely to work. So how far would you go?
Well, that might include having to try to destroy it by military strikes.
But that would lead to war, wouldn't it, on the Korean Peninsula?
There's danger it would lead to war.
Far worse than in Iraq?
It would be far worse than in Iraq. It would be a war in which thousands and thousands of Koreans would die, and maybe thousands of Americans as well.
The United States foreign policy has essentially been hijacked by a group of neoconservatives.
Victory weekend. America's anti-war activists, still a minority, gather in Washington. Too late to stop this war, but not perhaps the others they fear will follow.
If we do not stop them now, they're going to continue with this war all over the world.
No one sort of paid attention until all of a sudden we wake up in 2001, really. We wake up and they're running the government. They own the Defense Department. I mean, that's what's so terrifying.
You thought that the war was going to spread all over the Middle East. You thought there'd be massive bloodshed. It hasn't happened, has it?
Not yet. It's only been 3 weeks. My God. Look, that's what we have to worry about. I mean, really, we have to... It's been 3 weeks, and we're not in Syria yet, but already in the American media, you're saying, oh, Syria, bad. Look out for Syria. It's like they're preparing us. Peace right now!
Downtown, J. Mark's band of protesters are joined by 30,000 others. They're protesting against a war they see as the start of a new American empire, against a policy of exporting democracy that only seems to target regions where American interests are at stake. The accusation in Arab circles, and some people in Washington say this as well, but generally they're too polite to put it this way, but let me say it anyway, is that the administration has been hijacked by a small group of often pro-Zionist intellectuals without any real popular backing who somehow persuaded President Bush to go to war with Iraq.
No,
No
contrary to
conspiracy.
popular belief,
No
there is no
conspiracy.
conspiracy. The group would not have been so powerful was it not for an administration and a president who is susceptible and is willing to adopt many of those ideas.
Susceptible in the sense of?
Open. Open to listening, open to, hearing those ideas. Nobody hijacked anything. Nobody has brainwashed the American president. He's acting according to his own convictions and beliefs.
A few blocks away, the pro-war patriots hold their own rally. The turnout just 1,000 or 2, the passion just as intense. How did you feel when the statue came down?
Moved. It was a moving moment, really. Great to see.
Looks like you won. What next?
Well, I think we need to help get Iraq on its feet, help establish a decent government there, and then really work to remove other dictators with weapons of mass destruction and deal with the threat of terrorism around the world. Hopefully not with military action, hopefully through diplomatic pressure, but this is the end of the beginning of this broader war. It's not the end of the end.
This was a very important moment, I think, in all honesty, in American history, this last 3-4 weeks. After Vietnam, many Americans came to think that we couldn't be a force for good in the world, that our military...
Much of the world peers into the new American century with anxiety. Neoconservatives hope we'll rally round their faith in American power. They may not win every battle. George Bush may yet find them a liability. But his ideological shock troops are on a roll. Bad news if you're in the way.
I think the president and the military and our leadership will need the support of all of us over the next month and years, as well as we continue to make this world a safer and a better and a freer place. Thank you so much.
Do you understand why neoconservatives scare the hell out of a lot of people? Not just tyrants in the Middle East, but ordinary people in Britain too. This does scare a lot of people.
Right. I understand that. And if the alternative to scaring people, even after we've tried hard to explain what it is we're thinking, if the alternative to that is abandoning our values and abandoning our own defense, then people are just going to have to live with whatever apprehension we generate.
Courtesy